What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am super pumped. I have two amazing women leaders. Kristin Messerli and I are working on an article that, I don't know, I've done so many of these videos, I feel like everybody knows it and I'm just repeating myself. But Kristin and I are writing this article called the 2022 Mortgage State of the Mortgage Industry Halftime Report. So Kristin, anything you want to say in terms of putting color around that before we bring Sue Woodard on stage?
Just that we are interviewing a bunch of really amazing experts and going to aggregate those data points that they bring and trends, and super excited to share that with everyone. And then we will have a playlist of all of these interviews accessible to everyone, but super excited to have Sue here.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, guys. I just finished interviewing Jake Jacobson, the founder of Fairway Independent Mortgage, and it's amazing how different everybody's answers are. Like I've interviewed, CEOs, consultants, media leaders, Clayton Collins, and now we have the great Sue Woodard, who I think is pretty much the best person to follow on LinkedIn. I don't know.
Oh, that's awful nice of you. I do have fun on LinkedIn. I will say that. I can't keep up with your content. Nobody does content like you two, but I do have a lot of fun. Some public service announcements.
Just so you know, you're my favorite LinkedIn profile to follow, between having fun at events, shining positive light on people, and then of course those public service alerts are hilarious.
Got to keep it real.
Yeah. How fast can you write those out? Because every time I'm like, that would like do you just knock that out?
It just happens. I mean, these things, you guys know everywhere we go, there's some zany thing happening. And so I just take a minute, and I think if it made me laugh, it'll probably make everybody else out there laugh too.
Yes.
We're all in it too. I mean, we're all back in this crazy travel world together. So, but it's good times.
Cool. Well, let's do this. Let's get into it. I'm going to assume everybody knows who Sue is. And if you don't, Google her and you'll know. Someone important if you're in mortgage. Financial services, if you care about customer experience and winning in this new world, then you need to know who Sue is. So let's kick it off. The closing chapter of this conversation is going to be opportunities and strategies that lenders and loan officers should do to win. And I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I've never seen a market like this. Like usually when rates go up 2% in 2 months, like we're all screwed. It's just like, how do we survive? But this is a market where there's some bright spots and there's some trends and there's some real opportunities to pick up market share. So let's start with not trends, but data points and just key things that have happened in the market that you think are impacting the market and create opportunities.
Yeah, I think, a couple of things that I think about right away is, certainly no surprise to anybody listening to this call, obviously the pie is shrinking, right? But I think the interesting thing is that when you look at the data, if we hit the projected forecast of, I think it's 2.6 trillion is the new number. Yes, obviously it's a big downturn from the money machine we were standing in, but it would be the third best year on record over the last 15 years. So I think there is a little bit of a perspective and reality check there that we need to have, where everybody's in a bit of a panic. But there's still a lot of business to be done out there, to your very good point, Dave. There's a lot of people that absolutely need what it is that we offer, and either haven't had the opportunity to jump in yet, have been afraid of the market, that as we're seeing the deceleration of some of the crazy price acceleration, it's going to create more opportunities for more homeowners. There's opportunities for cash out. I think the latest numbers I saw were something crazy, like 27% of properties were cash offers, because you almost have to offer cash to try to even get looked at right now. But people are taking that money from places that they shouldn't have, and to be able to turn around and then do a cash out refinance. There's a lot of opportunity out there for people right now, even given that the market is slowing down from the crazy, again, the money machine we've been standing in for the last couple of years.
So Sue, as always, gets ahead of it. Like we already got an idea, cash out refis. That's idea, guys, number one. Kristin, anything you want to ask Sue on data point?
I don't think so. I think that, you're bringing some really interesting data points, and I'm interested in what kind of trends you're seeing as a result.
Well, a couple of things. One of the things that I think is coming back in vogue is paying points, buying down that interest rate. That's been a big impact on people with that interest rate popping up. You look at the the affordability numbers are causing a lot of people. I mean, those are real dollars when you look at the difference in interest rates combined with, price acceleration. So I am, seeing and hearing people having, kind of getting back into talking to people about buying down that interest rate with points, or looking for how they can do that, looking back at those, more, not just a 30-year fix, looking at these, the 5-1s and 7-1s and products that maybe we haven't sold in a while, but really digging back into those and helping consumers really understand what those options are. And there's not something to be afraid of, but it's a way that can actually create more home affordability for people.
So you're the first one that's brought that up in that context. And I think that is huge, because I am seeing from the interviews I'm doing with loan officers, not only are they doing a points TCA from a rate shopping perspective, they'll show family no points, a half a point, all the way up to like 2 points. And so the family, is like, they're picking a rate and picking points. And then I have seen a lot of seller buy downs where, you're seeing people do that. So guys, what Sue just said is pure gold. If you are a leader, you need to retrain your loan officers. Like it may sound like common sense for anyone who's been doing this for a while. You're like, oh, I know that. New loan officers don't know that. And there's a lot of loan officers that have forgotten that. So get that in your next meeting. What else? What's another trend that you are seeing or thinking about?
Well, I think, just as we think about, especially for leaders, obviously there's a couple big things that I hear from people. Number one is obviously the margin compression, and the disappearance of profits. The numbers that I just saw on that were, I think it was net profits were $1,100 per loan in fourth quarter, and that went down to $233 per loan in first quarter. Significant difference in terms of those profit margins. Again, no surprise when you see the market turn like it is. But it just means lenders are going to have to get really smart about how are they utilizing technology? How are you automating all of the things that you can so that you're elevating those loan officers and those human beings to have that human interaction at those moments that matter throughout the process. I think another big, sorry, go ahead.
Well, before you go off that, could you get us a STRATMOR chart on that? Like something that we can source STRATMOR on that data point?
Probably. Yeah, I just ran across it the other day. I'm sure the great minds at STRATMOR, we can whip something up.
We'll make sure we source it for you guys and everything.
Yeah, would love that. But it's a big difference, right? And so, I think one of the things that when I talk to vendors, I'm saying you better act as if every single contract you have out there with a lender is sitting on their table and they're saying, do we need this? What has this done for me lately? How can this, accelerate my business? How is it going to help my loan officers? And needing to really get engaged, because people are having to, just like a family needs to. If you just knew that your income, declined by, 75%, you're going to take a good hard look about, well, maybe we're good with the hamburgers versus the sirloin. You're going to make different decisions. And so I just think, lenders are making, tough decisions, needing to get real smart right now. It's not negative like it was a few years ago. But I do think, people are trying to be very smart right now about where they're spending money and investing money in the right places that are going to grow, grow their loan officers, grow their people for the future, but finding out where can they plug in smart technology in order to get those productivity gains.
Cool. Kristin, any other questions on that or any comments to what Sue said?
Just, you were talking about the need for human advice and how and especially, everyone is adopting more technology and trying to move with times. And yet there's also some creativity happening that you mentioned around products and programs to meet the needs of consumers today and the market today. Are you seeing any trends in terms of the way that the lenders are training their loan officers or adopting technology that has that kind of hybrid experience?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. A couple of different interesting things on that point. Definitely hearing lenders talking about how to create a hybrid experience, even utilizing consumer direct. If you have a consumer direct channel, those are very traditionally refinance centric, right? Where it's a financial transaction. It's not a life, oh my gosh, my family's moving, and I need to hold the hand of this person transaction. So a lot of lenders are getting really creative and really smart using those consumer direct or call centers as nurturing leads, kind of warming before they would transfer something over to a retail loan officer. So I think that's been something very successful that I've seen people do in terms of a hybrid. And I think people are getting smarter about technology too, and finding the places that, I mean, that's what technology is there for, is not to, necessarily replace humans, but it's to replace, it is to try to reduce expense in that loan manufacturing process and make a better experience for the customer, because customer experience, continues to be a really wicked battlefield out there. And over the last couple of years, a lot of people took their eye off the ball of customer experience, because in refinancing, when it's crazy, people are just happy to get their interest rate, right? They're like, I don't care what happened during this. Like, as long as I can close with that interest rate, we're good. Even though you haven't talked to me in, a month, and I don't really know what's happening as I go into closing. It's not going to be that way in purchase world. It's not that way in purchase world. And so I think people are looking to technology and the great technology vendors that are out there, to really supplement and come alongside their loan officers in order to help create that great, a different kind of hybrid experience utilizing technology, and those loan officers and the people that are involved in that equation. And, one point that I want to make on that I think it's a conversation I've had a lot lately. A lot of lenders, another big point, and I know you all have heard this too, when you talk to people at conferences, people are very frustrated about the adoption or engagement that they have with technology. And they say, well, people aren't, they're not using it. And my message to lenders has been, number one, take a beat, because for the last 2 years, your people have not had time to shower, right? Like, no one has flossed in the mortgage industry. I swear to God, for like 2 years. I mean, people have not had time for anything. And so before you go, throwing something out where you're like, wow, we don't have logins on this, we better throw this out, take a beat, right? And just kind of pull up on those technologies, lean in with those vendors, because a lot of those technologies that you might look at and say, gosh, people have been logging in, either number one, they're working for those loan officers, even though they don't necessarily have fingers on the keyboard, there's value being provided there. And number two, those could be exactly the technologies that your people need right now in order to succeed in this new market, to set themselves apart, to be, as you said, Dave, doing some of the analysis that they need to do for those purchase customers. You have to have those tools at your fingertips right now. So I'm just telling lenders, lean into your vendor partners, those solution providers, and say, okay, where do we need to dig into? How can we get our loan officers engaged? How can we help those folks? Because the loan officers are looking for it right now. And that's how a company can start to stand apart, is by saying, hey, we're not pulling away things from you right now. We're going to lean into these things, and we're going to help you, our sales team, have everything that you need to succeed in the future that we're moving into.
I couldn't agree more. And we're seeing record adoption of Mortgage Coach, and we are seeing a lot of C-suites, doing more training. And, one of the things we're trying to do is Mortgage Coach, it's that advice engine, and we really want to institutionalize advice. And then, Sales Boomerang is all about alerts, and, just training loan officers how to have the conversation with a database alert, and teaching loan officers how to, deliver options to families to reduce rate shopping and win. It's never been more important. So let's stay focused on opportunities and strategies, because you've shared a few, but we'd love to get a few more. What else is you think some of the best strategies and best opportunities for lenders and loan officers right now?
Yeah, I think, Dave, you've heard me say this, but it's kind of like the new definition of insanity, right? Like the definition of insanity used to be like doing the same things and expecting a different result. I'm saying the new definition of insanity is doing the same things you've been doing the last couple of years and thinking you're going to get the same result of X amount of production. You're not, right? You have to do some things that are different. And so I think it's time for people to do the things that they've really only had time to talk about in the last couple of years. Like, I really want to dig in with my referral partners. Well, you actually need to dig in with your referral partners. A lot of those relationships have gotten ignored in the last couple of years. And I think those relationships are, if you really don't have your arms wrapped around those relationships, starting with real estate agents, man, it's time to dig in, with them, and getting together with them, doing those business reviews, putting together a plan of how you're going to do more business together, looking at those alternative referral partners, and Dave, you and I have taught on this, for years, working with financial planners, working with CPAs, working with, divorce attorneys. Sadly, there's a lot of COVID divorces. There's COVID babies, and there's COVID beards, and there's COVID divorces. And, divorce attorneys, unfortunately, that's a huge source of business. And referable transactions. And so, instead of just talking about like digging in with some of these alternative sources of transactions and referrals, actually do it, I think is probably a big one. And some of that just takes doing the stuff that, Dave, I know that your mortgage coach followers, they know the talk tracks, they know the things to do, but it is time to actually do it.
So I'm going to ask one more question and then Kristin, let you kind of close it out with Sue. But when you said that, like there's things we know we need to do and there's things we haven't done. First thing that came to my mind was video. And I'm seeing a lot of success stories come into our Facebook group where, oh, I put a video on it and I won with this rate shopper. And I know you're a big fan of BombBomb as well as I am. So give us give everybody a pep talk, and I want you to do it in a way that, one, we're talking to the C-suite and it's like, guys, you need to lead. You need to be using video. You need to remind your people to use video. And then if it's a loan officer watching us, give us one or two, video ideas and how that might be valuable in this market.
Yeah, my gosh. I mean, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because one of the great things that everyone got over the course of the pandemic was getting used to seeing themselves on video. Right? No matter what you look like. You guys caught me with, I didn't shower today. I have no makeup on, but it's like, oh, but here we are,
You look fantastic.
Yeah.
But I guess my point being, we've all gotten used to seeing ourselves on video, to showing our backgrounds on video. In fact, you get to know people better, because like Dave, I'm super intrigued by that chair in your background right now. Because it's just
I'm at a friend's condo in San Diego.
Okay, it's something else.
Yeah,
but this is what video has done for us. And so, the number one thing that I would say, regardless of if you are a leader or if you are a loan officer, there is a ton that you get with digital eye contact, and it is scalable, right? Because we're doing this right now. I'm having a cool conversation with my two good buddies, but bunches of people are seeing this or are going to see this, so video is so scalable. And part of it is just getting over yourself, we are a business of stories. The mortgage business is a business of stories. It's people's stories. It's human stories. You don't have to say people's names, but every single day there's a public service announcement about something happening in our lives as, being in the mortgage industry. There's heartwarming stories. There's, intriguing stories. There's joyful stories about people getting into homes, and we're building neighborhoods and communities. We have so much to talk about every single day. So the biggest thing I would tell people is, honestly, sometimes you just need to put a time on your calendar, get over yourself, hit video. Ginger Bell and I talk about this all the time. It's just be a one take Charlie, take that video and just ship it, stop trying to edit it. And, oh, I said, yep. Well, I just said, 20 times in the last few minutes we've been talking, but it's real, right? And people are attracted to real. So leaders, man, what a way to communicate with your people. Lots of you are not in the office with your folks anymore. You're not at HQ and you're able to, manage by walking around and all that. But sending out a video, it feels personal for people, really personal. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned BombBomb. I'm such huge fans of them, and they're coming up with some really cool stuff to make it even easier for people to have that personal connection with referral partners, with their leads, with their database. So whether you're a leader or a loan officer, man, tell the stories, tell the stories and educate. We get we get tired of our own talk tracks and educating on things like points, right? Talking about points, talking about, different types of loan products, talking about cash out refinances, talking about being smart with your money. These are things that we're like, we've been talking about this for years. People know this. No, they don't, right? We know this because we've been talking about it. Our customers and the people who are going to see these videos, you capture them and you engage them, with video. It's a way to humanize everything that we're talking about. It attracts people to you. And it is a huge way to set yourself apart as a leader or as a loan officer.
So good. I have loved everything you've talked about. And I think that is such a huge, huge point there. I know we have just a couple minutes here left. I would love to know either whether you are seeing a shift in the way that people are engaging with their referral partners. Like you said that, with the shift in the purchase market, that being a real focus right now. Or if you have anything to share on the changes in the way that we're approaching social media. So, those channels are always changing and a lot has shifted in last year.
Yeah, those are interesting questions. I mean, I think people are just have more time to do both of those things, right? Whether it's digging in with their referral partners or digging in with their social media. And it doesn't come naturally. If you haven't been used to doing it, you don't have a routine with doing it, I would get really tactical about it and say, okay, what are the channels I need to be on? Where are my people? And those are the channels that I'm going to be on. You don't need to be absolutely everywhere, but pick your channels. And then honestly, I mean, I even had to, and I'm all about, I love social media, but I had to time block for a while because I just kind of, wasn't, so I time blocked on my calendar. And I think one of the to pull those two things together, I think one of the most powerful things people could do right now is loan officers go help those real estate agents and referral partners with social media. How do they put video on their social media? I mean, gosh, I've done that, over the years for real estate agents that are just good friends of mine, but showing them, yeah, like walking into a house or, like just you in your life and telling the stories and, keep it less than 60 seconds, right? But I think loan officers doing that with realtors, what a great way to cement your relationship, help build their business, help build your business is, tie together, help those real estate agents do more on social media.
Yeah, we have something in mortgage coach community called TCA Tuesday, where we push everyone to take a total cost analysis story or strategy where you helped a family, like you created a wow, and then tell that story on Facebook, tell that story on Instagram. TCA Tuesday, everyone.
I love that.
And then I think it will be prominent in our article, but we'll be talking about how to make the case with realtors that, hey, you've got a fintech powered CRM, a total expert, bomb, mortgage coach, HomeBot, sales boomerang. You make the case with realtors that their database is better off in your database. You're going to pull more transaction out of it.
Yep.
So you've been amazing. Thank you for making time to jump on with Kristin and I. Kristin, anything you want to wrap up before we completely close out this conversation?
No, this has been so enlightening, and it's so great to see you again, Sue. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks, Sue, and
love you both.
Love you.
Love you.
Appreciate you. Can't wait to see you in the real world. If you like this, give it a like. Let Sue know that she's popular, because she is. And share this with your mortgage friends. Share this with your mortgage managers. It's not every day we get Sue Woodard and Kristin Messerli on Mortgage Coach. So thank you both. This call is a wrap. Take care, everybody.
Bye.